Welcome to Avenger Racing Channel and Avenger Machine Works, home of Rob Bates Motorsports, and of course that makes me Rob Bates. The original building was 6,000 square feet, built in 1995, added on to in the last year or so, and we're going through major upgrades. It's a really wet day in Mooresville, North Carolina, but it's dry and cool inside, and we'll step inside and show you a little bit of what we have going on. Okay, we're inside here. Love muscle cars. You can see the 58 panel truck Chevrolet. It runs and drives. Got the straight six with the 3-speed on the tree. It runs and drives, but it needs a little work. But that's one of our next projects. We got 2 car rotators here and a lot of sheet metal equipment. We got Guido, the forklift. Off in the distance there, we got the Bumblebee in for service. Got to be turned around, ready to go for Wednesday night. We got the inertia dyno going there. Got to do a little bit of work on the engine. Waiting car right Wednesday night, and we got to turn it around and get everything sorted out. We have the chassis table, setup table, have the Jones tire machine. There's 3 Phantom go-karts, Jones tire roller. We usually only use that for stretching and shrinking, just for the heat. They don't do any prepping anymore. We're doing the treaded stuff. 54 Lafayette quarter midget. Got the big automatic saw. Not hooked up yet. Electrician hadn't got to that part yet. We got the big Johnson saw, miscellaneous tools, the big shelf racks. One of the next projects. Let's see over there. Oh, just a sec. More car stuff over here beside the panel truck. Need to put doors on it. Got the heat treating oven. We got 2 valve grinding machines, press, 2 engines on the engine stand. Alright, let's go into the original side of the building. Greeted by Stewie, the most ferocious dog we have here. If you don't like fur, you probably won't like it here. He's one of 5. There's been more in the past, and will be more in the future. Got some Avenger cart lifts in process. We got forklift needs a valve job, some tire rollers, we got some tire sanders. Up, we got the Sears dragster pedal car. This here we call the bread box, where a lot of welding's done and where the cart lifts are made, and that's the roll around shelf rector set metal rector that we're building. And there's a TIG weld machine, more fab stuff. We got CNC, 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 CNC. Office. We got a vinyl cutter, and got this old go-kart just like the one I raced when I was a kid. Laying against the machine is a 1981 Takahashi MicroStar Fanic 6 control, built in 1981, I think. This is a project built from a Z50. Uses a clone race engine. You sit on the fender and all it does is go straight, and it will hurt you. Promise. Right through here. Parts room. Everybody must see this. We have 2 manual lathes. This was a Klossing. That's a Harrison from England. Call it Dirty Harry, or just Harry, because they make big chips and it will hurt you as well. Here's the Hall of Fame. I think all of them, but the yellow one is bent. Jasper Motorsports water tank from way back in probably the 80s, 90s. Back to the machines. Got a Haas VF-4 with a 4th axis. VF-2 runs really well. Got the weight covers off. Got to work on something real quick before we put it back together. Gotta get it cleaned up. Oh, gotta work on the auger. One of the gears or something on the auger is making a heck of a noise. And here's the Puma 240 MS with live tooling. That thing does an amazing job. And back here, back room. Something I always wanted. I go through a doggy gate. Scooter likes to get back here. Try to keep him out. There's the Harley engine. 69 Harley. There you go. It's a little bent. It was laid down in the 80s. A little tweak to the right. Had a really nasty girder fork front end on it, but we're gonna straighten it out. Gonna work on it a little bit, but there's our projects. But I'm gonna show you a little bit about today, and then we're just gonna call it quits for the first video. This is just a introductory to some of the projects, and got some really interesting stuff coming up. But this is just let you know who we are. Well, welcome to day 6 of COVID. Last week, I was getting ready to race, working on the dyno. Dyno had a fail. Just had to work on a little bit of a redesign. Getting the go-kart ready to go race. But I escaped it for a long time, but COVID caught me and it stopped me in my tracks. You don't think that stuff is real? It is real. And it brought this shop to a halt. I mean, when I got sick, it stopped. Work on the go-kart stopped. Work on the dyno stopped. The work in the shop stopped. I was down for the count. My voice is just starting to come back. But contacted a doctor. He said take a COVID test. Tested positive. He sent some medicine out. Stuff that supposedly doesn't cure it, but keeps it from getting worse. I took that stuff and basically sleeping 24 hours a day, getting up just enough, taking care of a little bit of office work, but that's it. The way you see the shop is exactly how I left it last week. We just have to be thankful for, there's a lot of people that came before us that weren't as fortunate. I'm on about a week now. I'm on the other side, or hope I'm on the other side. I feel better. Do a little bit moving around, and you have to just be thankful for the things you have. There's a lot of people that didn't make it through. A lot of friends that thought were pretty healthy just didn't make it. So in all things we have to always be thankful. So trying to slowly get back to work. I've done a couple of things here, just trying to get Big Haas back to work and see what we can do, but not overdo it. Stay safe out there, you YouTubers. Day 9 of COVID. Day 10. I don't know, that's the first day I've been back in the shop for real. Or at least I'm back on the new side. It's been rough. Worked a little bit on the CNC side, a couple hours here and there. Work 30 minutes rest, work 30 minutes rest. It's rough, but back on the go-kart side, the racing side. First time back. Time to work on the old Murray. Have to really give thanks to Peter Gibbons to cut grass while I wasn't feeling well. Just thankful for all the people that have helped when I wasn't feeling good. I've been down 10 days, and I mean stop shitting your tracks. But go work on the Murray. Gotta get the belt tensioner on the blade working right, and go see if we can mow a little bit. Okay, it's another day here at Avenger Racing Channel. Here's the VF-4 that we just received. Got it powered up, got the air to it. First it told me low air pressure, even though we had air pressure going to it, so must be a bad switch or something there. So anyway, bypass that switch, but it's still in an e-stop condition. I took the back panel off, and here there's the back of the E switch, which is normally closed. Took the wires off it, checked it, button out, normally closed, button in, open, so it's not the E-stop. But this machine had a pallet changer attached, which is still outside covered up, so maybe it's waiting on it's got an open circuit because of the pallet changer not being attached, so not much room to attach the pallet changer, so I'm gonna move this machine somewhere over there where there's a mess, and find a more permanent spot for it so we can attach the pallet changer. Make sure we got the E-stop on it, because it does have an E-stop on the pallet changer, and go from there. Good reason to clean up. So we got a mess. We got panels everywhere. I'm gonna send those out to Kenny Barnes at Diversified Finishers up there in Taylorsville, and he's gonna blast those all up and powder coat them. And got a couple panels on the other machines that's gonna get cleaned up and powder coated, and even the big automatic saw there and in the corner, we're gonna redo some panels on it. Anything else that needs a good coat is gonna get sent up there as well. Bumblebee, hadn't touched it yet, but a lot of stuff to do there. Gotta finish putting the dyno back together. Figured out what's wrong with it. So, a lot of little details to do. I have the other VF-4 running. It stays busy pretty much all the time. As long as I'm awake and down here, it's gonna be running. This is a bottom panel on the Z-axis way cover. I had 2 of these made, so this is the identical one to what we put in yesterday. Got it in there, and it's working pretty good. Really can't see it back there, but likes to work by itself. I got a little bit of work for it to do as soon as the metal saw Big Johnson back there gets done. That's some work for today, woo, but it's waiting on me, so I have to get busy. So this another day at work. We'll keep going, keep you posted. Oh, and I forgot to mention our oil pan project here. This goes in a rail dragster from my friend Charlie. Somebody made a window in this oil pan, so made a piece that's gonna go in there and gonna weld it in there, and then there's another piece that'll go on top of it because it's double metal right there. So check that in, double the metal, and wait for the next window. So I tell people that work here, you never know what's coming next. And if you ever do, you'll never get bored, or you shouldn't get bored because you never know what you're gonna do next. We like interesting stuff around here. Off to the next project. Okay, here's the inside of the pan. Do the inside of the pan so it'll boil out all the imperfections so it'll look as nice. Still got to do the double layer on the lip there, and then there's some sticking out, and then we'll bob it off even once we're all done. Leave it a little long, but here we are so far. Okay, so next morning, working on the shaky camera, I got shaky hands. Working on the VF-4. I went and brought the pallet changer inside. Not a lot of room yet. It took a lot of doing, but as you can see, here's the pallet changer. Ooh, I don't like that rust. But yes, it does have an emergency stop. But plugged it into the machine, and we're all good. That indeed was the problem with the e-stop, because it left an open in the circuit, I guess, because it was expecting to see it. So then I was able to zero all the axes, home all the axes, so they're homed, and there's our spindle. I don't like to run it, not supposed to run it without a tool in place, but here's everything's nice and quiet. Seems to jog nice, everything seems nice. But the original problem was low air pressure, and I had bypassed the low air pressure switch, just seen if it was the switch, but evidently not, as evidently does not have proper air to the head. They had the covers off, so something up there is wrong, because two things that I found it will not do, and it will not do a tool change, because it will not, there's no air, and it will not switch gears from low gear to high gear. So it gives me something to work on, but it narrows it down greatly, but don't see any major problems. But I'll keep you posted on that. Meantime, we're going